Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us here on what is now another magnificent Monday as we invite you to be a part of our first discussion opportunity to speak with Mr. Kendrick Webster. So please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. And a special good afternoon to Mr. Kendrick Webster for joining us. Kendrick, good afternoon, man. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. How are you today?
Great, Sterling. And to the general and listening audience, I just want to say it's great to be on the radio again. I just want to shout out and wish each and every family within the 3 Cayman Islands a happy and prosperous 2020. And, you know, with God's grace, it'll be your year, and it'll be a great year for the Cayman Islands.
Amen to that, brother. Health and safety added to that as well. But I appreciate it. It's a good way to perhaps continue the start, as I see, of the year, as we talk to you more about, you know, what we've come to now see, hopefully most of us, the launch of the Webster Foundation. You have done great work in the communities, especially with our schools, for a long time. And people say they need something, man, they call on you.
Yes, I just wanted to, you know, just bring some more light towards the Webster's Foundation. It was started back in 2018, and I'm not sure if people read some of the article that was in the papers last Tuesday with a substantial grant of $19,077 to Ms. Atara Thompson, which is now studying culinary arts at the Institute of Americas in New York. And she was just here over the holidays, and she has just returned back to, you know, complete her studies. But this grant basically would not have happened without the assistance and donations given into the foundation in a very short form because of the period of time that she had to receive these funds. And I just want to say thanks to all the anonymous donors, persons who decided that, and some companies that wanted to stay anonymous. But the sector, again, the restaurant sector, donations came in from them, certain other the individuals. And as you can see printed, the Cayman Crystal Caves, a new attraction. We work, Webster Stores work very close with them. We have a very good working relationship. And we reached out to them to, assist Atara, and, they came right on board. So I just want to thank all of the sponsors, some individual persons that allow this young lady to, for her dreams to come to reality.
I think this is where, as I listened to, as I read the article, as we shared, and hopefully more of us will see that we talk about this village to raise a child, to nurture the child, but it's the village to make sure that the village is safe, that the village is benefiting from the activities of the village residents. And sometimes that village is not just around the corner, but it's across the pond, as it were. and that pond can be, Grandpa Samba Pond, or it can be a little bit bigger, where it's transatlantic. But if we come together and we leverage that, we find a conduit, as you provided with the Webster Foundation, to put resources, financial and otherwise, to assist us, it's going to be good.
Yes, in addition to that, Webster's Tours will continue doing all of the other community projects and things that we do within the community, in addition to, some of the school lunches and stuff that we provide. That will stay within Webster's Tours. But the foundation will focus on things to assist some of our senior citizens and persons who are challenged, that come from very challenging backgrounds, that have need some assistance. And Atara was one of those individuals that when her mom reached out to me and said, things were down to the wire and she needed some assistance in trying to get her off to school. We do our due diligence in ensuring that everything is checked, the grades are up to standard, the person have gone through some sort of training, their volunteer work. Some of these things that we look at to ensure that if we're going to also try to work hard to make sure that individual is responsible. And one of the things that really stood out to me when Atara said, she said, Dr. Webster, you will not regret, investing your time in me. And I just had to really, really push hard to make this happen. And, the general public was just, so receptive of the idea, and everything turned around. Within about 3 weeks, we were able to have this money pledged. Again, basically to get her there in time, I had to ensure that I sign off on it before the funds came in from those who pledged, but we made it happen.
Well, I'm glad you did, man, because I think when we look at not just education, but education that sort of, as you shared, help someone to pursue a passion and to continue the connectivity. The story, here's a young lady with a wonderful mother, but also going back to a grandmother. And what we would see some was, our grandmothers and some was our mothers in the kitchen, preparing not just the family meal, but the fellowship, the instruction, the tuition, as it were, the nurturing that comes from the dinner table. And then here is someone going to not a place that isn't to be sneezed at. The Culinary Institute of America has a global reputation that's producing some of the finest chefs across the world.
Well, also to just add to that, there's a young lady here who was actually one of the first Caymanians that were graduated from that institution, and I assisted through Webster's Tours at the time, and I was invited to her graduation, and she did the opening remarks. It was unbelievable, flawless. So when Atara came to me, I had no reservation because I knew the quality of work that is done there. I've been on the campus, so I was quite familiar with it. For those who don't know where it is, it's approximately 2 miles outside of JFK, New York, and it's a wonderful institution. But one of the things I want to add is that I think, what I would say to parents, they need to start identifying the needs of, their kids, what colleges they want to go to, what universities they want to go to. Allow them to participate, get involved, volunteer some work in the area that they want, and that field that they want to work in, so that will be good on their resume, good for the institution when they look on the application and for references. In addition to that, if we have to get involved from Webster's Foundation and try to give them a donation, if we're soliciting donation, we will have something, because these are some of the things that we're going to be looking for to ensure that applicant has worked and, just really determined to make that their career. We just don't want them to come and say, they have these grades and they don't participate in doing any volunteer work. So I would say there's a lot of scholarships that are offered privately and through the government. Get in early, get your application in early, so that it don't be down to the last minute, because it's a process of getting your I-20 form to make sure you get your visa. There's a lot of process involved, which I experienced and recently about some of the challenges that these students have to go through, which is can be very challenging, and it can also be a drawback on getting them frustrated about not going again.
We see the challenges, but I think when we have a wider community, and whether we have someone like us spearheading it, serving as that conduit, the wider community pitching in, I think many people appreciate that, especially if they're studying overseas. A little bit here from this one, a little bit there from that one, goes a long way. Family visiting, stopping in for an hour just to say hello and leaves you with $50 or $100, whatever it is. Just, you go out and you have a pizza. That in itself can be helpful. But then when you got tuition costing tens of thousands of dollars, not having that funding.
Yes. With a lot of the grants, it don't really meet the needs of that particular study for that individual. So you can be short of maybe $20,000 per semester, or $30,000, depending on what you're studying. So the grants are, we got to commend, number one, the government through the education department for allowing such grants. However, I would like to see if those grants could increase in the areas, and maybe streamline it to identify the areas where people are studying that would need a little bit more, or there could probably be worked on a percentage basis depending on what they're studying, instead of just one flat amount. And the timing is one of the things. Some of the students basically have to go off without having the money into the into their account, and that is something that is bothering them during their studies.
Unnecessary stress, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there are some of the things that I would like to see that we could get worked on that would make it a lot easier for them.
All right. Well, when we come back from the break, Mr. Webster, let's talk more about the Webster Foundation. Maybe revisit the impetus as to why you decided to formalize it in this extent, and perhaps even talk about the process.
Sure.
Because we see with the NPO legislation now, more people are able to recognize the importance of registering entities like this for every reason, but also we can chat about what that's like, and maybe share with us some of the vision that you have for the foundation going forward. For those who are listening, if you wish to sort of share your thoughts, maybe you want to find how you can draw alongside Mr. Webster, well, give us a call, 949-8037, or you can use our toll-free line at 1-800-534-8255. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
2020 means perfect vision. And if you have your sights set on driving a new hybrid, then the time is now to check out the new RAV4 and CHR.
Hold up.
Just two of the many hybrid models that Vamped is bringing to Cayman. Whether you're looking for a smoother and quieter way of driving, or want a car that maximizes fuel efficiency while minimizing emissions, there are lots of ways a new hybrid from Vamped can make the difference in your life. Hybrids save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries without being plugged in. So focus your 2020 vision on a new hybrid from Vamped Motors, and we will see you through. Come to Vamped, home of the hybrid, located on Walkers Road.
Headlines.
With the latest headlines.
One of Cayman's bright and shining young stars.
Local, regional, international.
Headlines.
Turning to international news. Updates on the hour between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. on weekdays. All the news when you want it. Tune in to Radio Cayman for hourly headlines of the day's top stories.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thank you for joining us. And in the studio, Mr. Kendrick Webster, as we continue talking about the formalization of the Webster Foundation. And I think that, if I may ask, the grant, that's the first grant officially through the foundation.
Yeah, that's correct.
All right.
And for anyone who don't know who Atara is, I think they were quite familiar with Ms. Zemry Thompson, who has done a tremendous amount of work and continue to do a tremendous amount of work within the Cayman Islands community. So with no reservation, when she appealed to me, I just definitely had to do it because the amount of work that she has done and continue to do in our community. So I just wanted to, give some awareness in that respect. But for Webster's Foundation, the process it's a registered non-profitable organization. The process, going through registering the organization, the staff there, in the department registering was very helpful. I think some persons will probably get frustrated in doing so, in trying to register it. But at the end of the day, it's an accountability. I think it's a good thing now to have all of the foundations, non-profitable foundations, registered. So when you're soliciting funds, you can show that definitely you're registered. And in addition to that, you're accountable to all persons, government, your persons to persons who actually make the donations into the foundation. And, with transparency is very important to me. So I would appeal to anyone who is planning to do a foundation and you find that it's very frustrating, just go in or just, speak to them there at the department, and they will actually give you their assistance and share their knowledge and time with you to make sure you get it registered and set up properly.
It's so important, especially as you shared the notion of accountability. People want to help. Sometimes they want to know, well, how can I verify this? Was it trust but verify?
Yes. But in addition to that, I want to gradually grow the foundation to a point where we're going to invite more people to get involved with the foundation. Want to focus primarily on, again, our senior citizens. There's a lot of our senior citizens who have contributed significantly to our Cayman community. Some of them are challenged in different areas, just small needs, but the foundation recognizes some of those needs, and we want to be able to assist those who definitely have those challenges. It can be from, just being bedridden and have need a medical bed or a facility. We can kind of channel certain things that, not the hospice, the new
Jasmine now?
Jasmine now, things that they can't assist with. This is where the foundation want to be able to, jump in and be able to assist. There was things when your department, DCFS, when they're doing the senior citizen monthly in October, there's different things that they require, and the foundation will be able to assist those senior citizens also. Primarily, it's about education. Education with, like I mentioned in my first introduction into the session, was to ensure that those challenged individuals are not left behind, that they can be a part of our community by getting the education, getting the necessary tools, and just getting that opportunity to be able to say, I'm the only child in my family that, got the opportunity to go to college or got the opportunity to go to university because, Webster's Foundation or the community was able to contribute to the foundation to allow this to happen. So we realized that this is a very important vehicle to be able to bridge that gap for those who were going to be left behind, and to make everybody inclusive when it comes to education. So this is why the foundation was set up, to ensure some of these things. We also want to focus on areas where students have special needs in respect to after school programs. They want need to get involved. There might be, some sort of fees, and the child is having challenges. This is the area that we want to also focus in and identifying those kids. Through Webster's Tours, now we do a lot of different things as far as assisting students, with that are going into after-school programs with transportation and stuff like that. On first couple weeks, depending on the program that they're involved with, but this particular one would be assisting the individuals through Webster's Foundation academically. The child having challenges with math, English, and they have to do several weeks or sessions. If there's something going on at the school or a different location, we want to be able to assist as much as possible. But where I see there's a major challenge is for students who are going overseas. And that is where we want to put a major focus on for those who are having that difficulty. And that's the main focus. And I'm happy that Atara is the first recipient, and that I'm hoping that she's not going to be the last, that we have many, many more. And I just want to appeal to those who are in the areas where they think that they will not get this opportunity. I just want to reassure them that the public, the community is here to assist you. You just have to apply yourself, come forward, and don't get discouraged. Just work very, very hard. Also important is for the parents to ensure that everything is in order. Just recently, I just had another young lady who came to my office, and her mom was just so very organized, and she was just having a slight challenge. And again, the foundation will be stepping up to assist her with a smaller donation to ensure that things are on track, but very organized. And these are some of the things that we look for to ensure that the individuals are going to get the grant. We want to make sure that the parents are organized and the students are doing their part too.
No, have a WhatsApp as we speak to Mr. Kendrick Webster, asking for people who want to maybe apply to the foundation. How did it go about it? What's the criteria?
Okay, what they'll do now is just give me a call, 916-3289, and then I can then walk them through exactly what would be the process of getting involved with the foundation.
Okay, so they just a number again?
916-3289.
All right. Well, you heard it, Mr. Kendrick Webster. I just respond here to this, this person's question, but for those who are listening. Now, what about if people, as you shared earlier, there are some anonymous as well as some others who were willing to assist. For those who want to, anonymous or otherwise, draw alongside the foundation and offer up assistance, cash or kind otherwise, how would they do that to join you in your partnering and helping students off the education and some of the other objects that you have?
Yeah, basically they can either email me, Kenrick, Kenrick, at Kandawaki, candw.ky, or just give me a call on 916-3289. We're more than happy to not only have the help of the just the monetary donations, but then there's going to be times where we're going to be doing things where we will need hands on board to be able to do some of the things that we have. Later on, we're going to be doing a website to have where it can interact with the general public. They can see exactly what the foundation is doing, and they can get involved in that respect also. So definitely hands on board is going to be the most important thing when we get further in expanding on the foundation.
And that's the thing, we can offer up our talents in so many ways for those people who can come and say, we're going to be doing something. I just need physical hands to help with this thing. Some may have a skill set, a website. Some may be able to help to process, review serve as an extra check on an application or the like.
That's cash in kind.
Cash in kind, man. And sometimes that is, more valuable in many respects, because the person, is taking out of their day, their time to provide an assistance that if you had to pay for it, maybe you have to wait long, maybe it's going to be very costly, maybe you just can't get it then and there. So
yes.
We have many ways. Again, it comes back to what you shared at the outset for Ms. Thompson, the fact that you were able to reach out to across the community, and some come on board now, someone come on board a little bit later, someone come on board with this amount, and others with another amount, but it all pooled together, making a meaningful difference.
Yes, and since the foundation is in the stage of its infancy, we take ideas, we take suggestions. You had a few calls since this ad was in, and their papers, and just overwhelming, support from the different people in the community, and want to share our other ideas. And I welcome meetings so we can sit down and talk about it, to build on what is there and just make it, accessible to maybe more people, or come up with other ideas. We're open to that.
Well, this is how we, if we can pool our ideas and we can get input from as many as possible, put it together, makes it better.
Definitely.
All right. Now, you referenced really the notion of assisting the elderly. I think more of us are starting to appreciate that it's not necessarily the intent for the community, but it's so easy because we become so busy, we sort of forget, yes, they're okay, but they're not as okay as they can be. And they get, at times, inadvertently ignored, and other times it's just unfortunate that it's deliberate. But any particular things, like for the elderly, that you would want to emphasize, that you'd like to see the foundation, in addition to what you shared previously? Because we see them bedridden, we see them in need of some of the medical aids and the like that they could use, the beds that you shared, hospital beds.
Well, some of the things, Dwayne, is to actually sit down and look and see how we could actually be able to get them out to more outings, whether or not it's once a month, get them out to just out of their home, their environment, get to meet up with their friends, just in a central location. It could be just a day over at Pedro St. James. It could be a day over at the Miss Joseph's Center in Bodden Town. It could be different locations, just out of their environment on a daily basis, instead of just making it that monthly in October. I think there are some of the things, and in addition to that, also to look on seeing how to do a survey and see how we can also assist them when he's getting to the supermarket, to reduce the costs on for them. Some of them have to take buses, to get to the supermarket and stuff like that. So there's an innovative idea that I have, just working maybe with the bus drivers and that is existing there, and see whether or not we can come about developing a senior citizens pass that they will allow them to ride the bus, even if it's once a month at no charge. That would allow them to get to our once a week to the supermarket. Something that
provide them more independence.
And also allow them to be able to make that little savings, because if they have to, every dollar they have that they spend, it's much harder than them. So things like that we want to try to see if we can develop and work with the existing transportation providers to see if we can come up with a solution in that respect.
Well, I think there is a general consensus, at least in word, hopefully in deed as well, that we as a community have a healthy respect for the elderly. I believe that we do, but as you said, let's put it into action. Let's see that it's more than just talking about it. It's more than just one-off. God's willing, we'll live to see an age where we will be considered, elderly. Hopefully we're still healthy and active and the like, but wouldn't it be nice that you go places and just because of your age, people are still taking time to hold the door for you? being a little bit extra accommodating at the supermarket, at the banks. You're standing in the line, you might want to stand in the line. No, I'm seeing that increasingly. I've also seen where someone comes in and maybe they're an athlete, suffered a slight injury. Thankfully, nothing serious. But people say, oh, you go ahead, you're on crutches. Why should you have to hobble along for the next 15, 20 minutes? Just go to the top of the line. Now, that's a nice gesture. Hopefully we don't become smart about it and pretend that we're ill in order to get ahead, because it'll come back and bite you.
But this is where we need to, and again, the idea of the foundation will also want to encourage, persons to bring along their, kids to participate and volunteer. I was over at the luncheon for the senior citizens held by the Rotary on Boxing Day, and there were some young students, young children there assisting, serving drinks and stuff. Of course, I participated in serving, but it was just nice to see that they appreciated and got involved in doing so. So I think that's one of the things. Yeah. But at this time, I would also, since you start talking about senior citizens, Mr. Howell.
You play dominoes with him recently?
No, I just want to say
have you been beaten by him recently?
No, I just want to say again, big shout out to him. Happy birthday again. I was at his function, which was at the Old Georgetown Town Hall just over the weekend here on Saturday, and it was amazing to see this man still playing the sax at 105. So, but what inspires me and keeps also that momentum is to just drive by Shedding Road in the morning or any time of the day. He's still sitting there at work. And when you say that, when people say that you can't find nothing to do and at 105 he's still working, it inspires me to say, don't stay home, just continue to work. And, I just encourage a lot of the young people to just get involved in doing something. If you can find work at 105, then you can find work at 20 or 25.
You know what? It's just a different talk, and that certainly is a good inspiration when we look at, people like him, people like our parents and the like. And this is why they are where they are, because they've always been active. Rolling Stone gathers no moss, huh?
Yes. But we all have to work hard to get what we want to accomplish in life. I visited an old lady just over the weekend, and I told her I needed to steal her coat because she said her coat goes like, you have to do what you have to do because nobody's going to do it for you.
Yeah. You might then do it yourself, right?
Yes.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. All right. Well, I think if I had listened to Miss Susan, we still have a break. Was that what I got caught up with you, and I know she'd probably took that time and switching a bit, but she's such a nice lady. Maybe it's be a different year. We're going to pause, take a quick short break. When we come back, we'll conclude the discussion talking about the Webster Foundation with Kendrick Webster.
Can you imagine where Cayman runs off renewable energy? We can. Learn how you can join government and be an energy advocate.
Visit the Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure's Facebook page to learn more.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
Hi, I'm thinking of buying a car from the States. Which port do you ship out of?
Hi, we ship out of Miami, Houston, and Brooklyn. Just let us know your port of choice and we can provide you with a quotation and answer any questions you may have on insuring and protecting your vehicle during its journey.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Can I send a request, please?
You don't really have to ask us. Just send a request.
This is a shout out to my ex.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thanks for joining us. And just a quick, preview. Right after the headline news at 1, we get a chance to speak to our friends at the Came On Heart Fun, tell you about something coming up. Then 1:30, we'll do some open line. And I think, if you join us, we can play some dominoes. Maybe bring Mr. Howell along, But we'll see. Again, as we speak into Kendrick Webster about the Webster Foundation, and you reference Mr. Howell, we see many across our community who serve as an inspiration, but who reminds us, if you live good, you genuinely try to do good by people and for people. Mama says good follows good, so not a bad thing, huh?
Yes, definitely. But I just want to say that we want to, continue to work very, very hard to, just make a big difference within the Cayman Islands community. So the persons that will come on board, we just want to let them know that their work is not going to be in vain. We're just going to transform lives in our community. And I know there's a lot of people out there that want to help, so I appeal to them to come on board, and we could, get the foundation growing bigger and bigger to make better things happen. Not discounting that there is not, other foundations that are doing things, but a lot of them are streamlined to doing other things. And we will, from time to time, share ideas with other foundations, or even have to help other foundations depending on what their needs are too. So, again, I've had one of the other non-profitable foundations that approached me about some other stuff. So we're going to be in discussions with them in respect to that. But I just want to let the general public know that the foundation is active. We, if we are appealing or doing something, we just want your support, because it's important, because whatever the drive is that we're, an initiative that we're planning, it's very important, and nothing more important to me than education. So I just want to appeal to each and every one to give us your support.
So partnership, as you shared, is to complement what is there, and hopefully as a community we start to appreciate that. We hear it often, many hands make light work. Sometimes we don't appreciate it. We tend to focus on too many cooks boil the broth, as opposed to realizing that it's the same thing. It's just a matter of how you approach it. Yes. You're working hand in hand to help, not to hinder.
Yes.
And do no harm, as they say. But for us, though, I think it takes sometimes the vision, the leadership, the drive, but also the example of others. Say, this is what we're doing, so therefore it can be done. And if the road is already paved, your drive is that much smoother.
Yes. And, one of the other things too, Sterling, that I want to have dialogue with some of the persons who want to come on board, is to bring about some other ideas about fundraising, not the traditional fundraising where you just constantly just doing the same. You want to just come up with some other new ideas. I have one or two new ideas that I have already in mind that I wanted to stay away from some of the traditional things. We'll have to do them from time to time. But I think the general public gets, tired of just, seeing persons asking for the same thing over and over. So we want to just come up with a new concept of, getting donations. There will be times where we have to go out to some of the corporate companies when it's this substantial amount. But on a regular basis, we want to be doing stuff that will bring in an income into the foundation. So if we have dire situations or urgent situations, we'll be able to tap into those funds for those particular students or senior citizens.
I think what it highlights too is that even in the midst of presumably a lot of wealth that exists within the community, we see the question there are a lot of us who respond quietly, anonymously. Some just say, this is what you need, this is what I have, this is what I can do. But as the community evolves, as the challenges sort of come to light, more of us that are available, there's more potential help that is available.
Yes. Well, you see why a lot of people want to stay anonymous is that they don't want the 10 and 15 phone calls coming to them to say, oh, can you, I saw where you sponsor such and such a person, can you sponsor me? So this is where the foundation will work to facilitate that and keeping things to those who want to keep anonymous, so that people wouldn't have to just be calling them up on their phones and saying, well, we saw an ad, we saw where you sponsor such and such a person, and they don't want to get bombarded with that. So we at the foundation will be able to channel that through those individuals and get to the person who really needs those funds. But again, what the foundation will do is to make sure that all the checks and balances for that individual. So the person who's going to make a donation, they will not have to be thinking, well, oh, is this legit? Is this, what is going on here? We're going to do that for them. So when we come to ask that individual or that company for $5,000, $10,000, or even $100, they will know that we have done a background check. We're satisfied with this particular applicant, that the funds is necessary. So this is the importance of having a foundation also.
Yeah, man. And this, I think, when we look at the NPO legislation, I think it helps us as a jurisdiction, but it also helps us as individuals, whether we looking, to be anonymous or otherwise, to be able to make those contributions, knowing that it can be pooled and assist, whether it's education, as you shared, or otherwise.
Yes.
The endeavors, if they're, worthwhile, they can add value to our communities as they impact the individuals, directly.
Yes. And also, it don't have to be, persons who want to make donations, cash donations or whatever, they don't have to wait until we appeal to them. They can, they can call us up and say, we would like to, donate X amount. We give them the account number. We're set up at First Caribbean Bank. The account is there. We can just give them the information and they can send the money to deposit there, and then we will basically keep a track of that, and then we can dispose of it according to the needs, whether or not it's something to do with our senior citizens, someone going off to college, or there's persons who are challenged with things with education, with after-school programs, or etc.
Well, I very encouraged to see the continual level of, sort of community spirit that resonates within our people. Those who want to contribute and be at the fore of assisting, those who recognize that we can draw alongside and extend that partnership. Now, as we close out the discussion, we asked and you shared a number, but for those who may want either to do so, or those who may want to say, well, I wonder if I would qualify for a grant from the foundation. What's the best way to contact, whether you want to contribute or whether you're looking to be a recipient?
Best way to contact me, just contact me directly on 916-3289. That number again is 916-3289.
Man, you're going to need an assistant for your assistant to answer your phones. But listen.
Or they can email me, kenrick@candw.ky, or even send a WhatsApp.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Listen, I very much appreciate it. Hopefully we get a chance to speak, to Ms. Thompson. Maybe when she visits again, tell us about her, how the semester is going and the like. Perhaps share more, from some of the other recipients as time goes on. But together, we'll make it work, right?
Sure. Just before we close, I just want to say, just appealing again to all persons who want to come on board the Webster's Foundation, just give us a call. Number is 916-3289, or you can send us a WhatsApp or even email kenrick@candw.ky. That's KENRICK @candw.ky. But I also, again, just really want to say a big thank you to all of those persons who have made this possible for Tara Thompson to pursue her dreams. Actually, she's one of the oldest in her class, and she's one of the older students because she was put behind of not having the opportunity to go much earlier. So I just want to say a big thank you to all of you. And between Webster's Foundation and Webster's Tours, we'll continue to strive for excellence in providing community service and also providing better opportunities for the people and our young people and our senior citizens within these three Cayman Islands. And again, may God continue to richly bless our islands.
Amen to that, brother. Listen, thanks again, and we look forward to chatting with you. All right, to our listeners, we're going to pause and take a break. When we come back after headline news at 1, we ask you to rejoin us. Quick discussion to talk about, the Heart Heroes Brunch as part of the Cayman Heart Fund. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have, on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice. For today's biggest news.
Access to information.
Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom team.
Today's biggest news.
Shortly after 3 p.m. on Saturday, the 911 Communication Center received a report of a person in distress at a location on North Church Street in Georgetown. A man had been snorkeling when he encountered difficulties and was assisted back to shore. Emergency services attended the scene and the man was transported to the Cayman Islands Hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. The man was a 72-year-old visitor from the United States. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. The Queen has agreed a period of transition in which the Duke and Duchess of Sussex will spend time in Canada and the UK. She said she's entirely supportive of their desire for a new role, but would have preferred them to remain full-time working royals. She says she expects final decisions to be made in the coming days. And a court in Pakistan has overturned the death sentence handed down to former President Pervez Musharraf by declaring the legal process unconstitutional. General Musharraf had challenged the formation of special court, which found him guilty of treason last December. Today, the Lahore High Court sided with the exiled general, who seized power in a 1999 coup and was president from 2001 to 2008. One prosecutor said the decision meant General Musharraf was a free man. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
The Cayman Islands Seafarers Association would like to inform all members that there will be a general meeting on Tuesday, January 21st at 7:30 p.m. in the Seafarers Hall, 11 Victory Avenue, Prospect. Nominations are also now being held for the 2020-2021 Council. Transportation for the meeting will be provided as always, and there will be 3 buses from West Bay Town Hall leaving at 6 p.m. The Barnes bus route in Georgetown leaves the public library parking area at 6:45, stopping at Cayman Compass Building and the Airport Fosters. The bus marked Bobo $1 public transport and is blue in color will do pickups from British Caymanian, Uncle Bill's, Walker's Road, Shedden Road, and Crew Road. The bus from East End pickups are from the school parking, the gas station, and wreck of the 10 Sails starting at 5:45. North side pickups are from Chisholm Store and the soccer field starting at 6:15. Bodden Town pickups will be from Lorna's gas station at 6:45. Savannah pickups from the gas station next to Wendy's at 7.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thank you for joining us. And it truly is another distinct pleasure to be able to have a chance to talk about the Cayman Heart Fund with the chairperson, Dr. Bella, and together with Terry Poppy. It is good afternoon. We look at heart, and sometimes we make it synonymous with love, but without the heart, how can you love? And without love, how can you really, really, smile? Right, Dr. Bella?
Totally right.
I tell you, boy, West Bayers, they're good people. But I'm glad and excited to hear some of the interesting changes that you have this year with the annual sort of festivities and celebrating not just being heart healthy, but the notion that if we're able to do something with all of our heart, as it were, it has just much more meaning. Now, Dr. Bell, if I can at some point, share with us more about the Cayman Heart Fund, but equally want to know about this event as well. So, the Cayman Heart Fund, I think everybody knows about it. For those who aren't quite up to speed, tell us about it.
Yeah,
Of course. As you know, we've been around for a while now, since 2007, and the great Susie Soto was and is the founder, and she's still a very, very active part of it. And so it is a true work of passion. And in general, what we do is we're a nonprofit. And our mission is to improve the cardiovascular health of the Cayman Islands. And in short, being part of the Western Hemisphere and demographic where we are, cardiovascular disease is still the number one cause of disease and death in our island. And we call it cardiovascular because we don't just talk about the heart, even though that's our logo and the catchy phrase, but the heart is interconnected to everything to do with the circulation. So it's your brain, it's your limbs, it's your heart. But of course, being that heart attacks and other heart-associated diseases are so common, that's our main focus. So we do many programs for the community to raise awareness, to educate, to raise funds, to directly help with those funds the community. And today we are very appreciative that you're having us here because we need to raise awareness about a very festive upcoming event that we have. And I would love for Terry to elaborate a bit more on that particular event.
Yeah, we're doing our brunch this year, so we've decided to go away from a lunch or a gala event and decide to go and have our Heart Heroes brunch. So every year we like to honor a few people in the community that have come through heart disease and actually just come through it, and we want to honor them and show their story and tell their story so that it can inspire others and show other people that they can make it through it as well, but also just show their side of it and just honor them. So we do our Heart Heroes brunch this year, and it's going to be on Valentine's weekend on February 16th at Restaurante Pappagallo. So it's a fantastic venue. It's going to be a bit of a smaller thing. We're not having it at one of the bigger hotels in a ballroom, anything like that, because this one is also going to be costumed.
Ah, costume.
Yes.
See, there you had me in a costume.
Yeah. So we've got music throughout the ages is the theme. So it's pretty much going, I know Bella's going for the 70s.
I am going for the 70s. I'm doing the disco.
And I know that my grandmother Susie is going to be in the 1920s era. I think our former chairperson has gone very, very early in the centuries, and I think he wanted to go for Beethoven. So we've got
Wait, people... Right in.
Yeah, we've got people going for all these multiple different eras of music, and it's because the music, we thought of that theme, music is so close to my heart and my mom's heart and my dad's heart, but we've been brought back into the Heart Fund, and we just wanted to bring everybody together with music that's so close to your heart and close to your soul. So
that's the thing, music is that thing. What does Shakespeare say? Music be the food of love, play on. Mm-hmm. And the idea, Dr. Bella shared, that we probably, those of us who don't know otherwise, and this is one of the things that I'm very grateful that the Heart Fund has done over the years, is the education and to understand that the heart, like the brain, but it's so pivotal, so interconnected. So it's your heart, but it's the circulation, it's the impact on all the other organs. It's your mood that is indicative of maybe some other illness that is just nagging, but you don't realize how, until you go to your physician and get your checks and know your numbers, right?
100%, yeah, and that's a part of our bigger campaigns all the time, to have people know their numbers and things like that. But it's in events like this that we want to take it, no pun intended, lightheartedly, and have people have fun. It's not just about sitting through lectures and telling you all the wrong things that you're doing or not. It is also about a celebration of community, togetherness, having fun, having a fun time, laughing. I mean, so many people say it, and it's true. There's even scientific evidence behind it. You enjoy yourself, you laugh, you have fun, your inflammation goes down, you feel better, you benefit yourself. So why not do it in the company of people who care for each other?
Yeah, you say laughter is good medicine, right?
Well, we have a great host for the evening that's one of the funniest people on island, I think. I believe she is one of the funniest people on island, Miss Vicky Wheaton. So she's our MC for the afternoon.
Well, as a classmate, she would say she's fun looking. I mean, she said this, and she's there to make you laugh at whatever, because I think she epitomizes that laughter is good medicine. That it is, good for the soul, but it helps in so many ways. I like what you share, that, this notion that we're going to have an event to laugh, but also to fellowship, but also to celebrate those heroes, and for people to start to appreciate that you may have had a very, very significant event. It could have been, much, much more serious, could have been fatal. But life isn't over. It's a wake-up call. It's an opportunity to make some adjustments, hopefully not only serve for you, but as an example for friends, family, co-workers, as a way to minister, for want of a better word, to others. Say, listen, little things are significant. Watch what you eat, exercise, sleep, go outside and laugh, and play in the rain.
Yeah.
For people who want to be a part of it, you say it's on the 16th at Ristorante Papagallo.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get tickets?
So to get tickets, you can call our coordinator at 916-6324, or you can email our coordinator as well at info@caymanheartfund.com.
Now you say doing a brunch, 11:30 till whenever. I mean, we might go to the next day.
Well,
in May. They won't be happy.
Yeah, it's 11:30 to 3, and the tickets are $150. So you can do that. If you've got a big group of people and you want to get a table of 10 together, let us know and we can do your theme. So you can pick an era. You can pick the 50s or the 60s, or even, if someone really wants to do 90s grunge, that would be great. Have some Courtney Love and Kurt Cobain's running around there. That would be awesome.
It's very practical because all you have to do is wake up, shimmy your head and go to the event.
Yeah,
you
no
don't have
need
to
to
do
shower.
Much. Exactly.
Just kind of rock up.
No.
I think it would be hilarious. I would like to see some 80s hair metal folks rocking around. That would be fantastic.
I see those all every day. Those 80s hair metal.
Yeah.
I want to see the 70s. Those are the ones. I want to bring back those times with Susan with her hair. Remember those days? I know you were young, but I have those pictures. I was just thinking, Dr. Bella has to go back now, and she doesn't have to probably borrow from much older friends because she's just just a teen.
Yes, I am.
But for me, I just go in my closet and take down. Oh, it's back in style. Just my bell bottoms and my get dusted off.
Exactly.
Get rid of the mothball smell.
But there is a prize. There is a prize for the best costume. So we do encourage, even though it's not mandatory, we do encourage because there's a great prize for the best costume.
Yeah.
Oh,
and we are going to have raffle tickets, everything. We've got some fantastic raffle prizes. So it's going to be a fun event. Papagallo's is really pulling out all the stops for us, and we've got some brilliant sponsors that have come on board. Tortuga Rum, of course, they've come on board to sponsor because Mr. Robbie Hamady is one of our past Heart Heroes. So he's come on board to sponsor as well. So it's going to be a fantastic evening.
Vico and Miss Maria, they really are hospitable, and they extend, especially when you're looking at groups and charitable endeavors like this for the community. They do it anyway, but even I think more so like this. And Papagallo, in West Bay, it has to be great.
Oh, it's beautiful. I'm very excited about it. Vico's shown me the menu, and I can't wait for people to see it.
Well, can you tell us about it? Because it's lunchtime,
it's a brunch menu, and Vico has put his Italian twist on it, but he's also got it's going to be healthy. So there's like lobster ravioli on there, which of course it's in lobster season right now. But he's also got some breakfast favorites on there. And then he's got this he used a different word for it, I wish I could remember, but he's got an entire thing of tiny, tiny desserts that he's going to have spread out and a whole dessert table. So,
teeny tiny desserts, that's what we call them.
Little tiny desserts.
Petit
but there's
fours?
No, it wasn't that one, but it was it's an Italian
teeny
name.
tiny desserts?
Yeah, teeny tiny dessert. I'm very excited about
it. Yes, because when they're teeny tiny, they don't count.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he probably says, teeny tiny desserts, Much different. But I just made sure I looked at the calendar to double check. The 16th is a Sunday.
It is.
All right. So it is the brunch.
It's a Sunday brunch. Papagallo's normally doesn't open for Sunday brunch, so we're actually going there.
We're debuting that for them. But it is a great gift idea for people because it's Valentine's. I mean, it's completely different, and it'll be tons of fun. There's bubbles, and it won't be any long-winded speeches or live auctions that take forever. It's just really a lighthearted, fun event. Lots of faces that we all know, and catching up with people. It's very close to the New Year, so I think it's it's a great event, and we hope to make it a regular.
Yeah, and we had K-Brew come on board, so for the men that don't want to have champagne, they can have K-Brew instead. So
I keep thinking back to see David in his Beethoven, Mozart sort of costume era. That in itself would be worth it. Yeah. Pictures with David for an extra $10.
Well, that is an idea.
Yeah. I mean, I can see good leverage. Leverage material.
As long as there is no station for sinking, throw the bowl and sink the chairperson of the Cayman Heart Fund, we're all good.
Maybe past chairperson.
Exactly.
That's a good idea for the symposium.
Yeah, and we do it for next year. So the past chairperson.
Exactly. Always the past one.
So you look forward to that.
Exactly.
No, well, this is where I think the laughter shows how much, not just lighthearted, but how much better it makes it. And then it gives the opportunity for the fundraising, but for all the program and the education and the initiatives that you do throughout the year, not just, a one-off or one quarter. It's continually, almost on a daily basis.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're always actively reaching out to all the institutions and everyone on island to see where are the areas of deficits. How can we improve what we encompass? So we're constantly reaching out to create new programs, like we did a few years ago with the ambulance, or recently with the incubator. Our board is completely, like Terry was kind of mentioning before, we have all new energy in the board, people who have been with the Heart Fund from inception but now are more actively participating, to new people. We have Nolan team is part of us right now for pediatric, and we are remembering the little Nolan who passed away a few years ago, but he is our heart angel. So we're also calling to that, saying some people unfortunately don't make it through heart disease, but it's still a motive for togetherness and to draw energy from community and efforts to try to have that not happen anymore. See how much we can reduce it and see where we can put a little grain of sand. So,
and that's the idea. I think that where, especially for me, if it's education or health, those are your pillars in your community. Those are the things that you champion, because those are the things that affect us every day, no matter where we are in life. The newborn to that person who is saying, God's willing, tomorrow I'll be 100 years old. It doesn't matter where you are. Those are the things that are important. But as you were sharing the music through the ages and the themes, but some of us have particular artists that we like, It's probably I shouldn't talk at the school, but here it really came on. We all dress up on a Friday night, and we come into the studio and we all, put on our Diana Ross costume. So everybody does it. You should come one Friday night and see us. We're on the 5th floor, right in the building here. There's a special lounge. It's a perfect little place. We've got lights and stuff. So could we come as our favorite artist?
Of course. I know that one of the artists that my mom put on the list was the Merrymen, because she wants to see some people come out as their old Calypso artist fans, because that's what she grew up with. So she was like, no, I want to see the old Calypso artists, so I know that she's going to be dressing up as one of them.
I could come as Andy Martin.
Yeah, you should definitely come.
That would look well, man. I know if I got an Grecian to put on, but we could do that, right, Susan? She's like, I'm trying to beat her, and she's like, he's my friend in the back, and I can't go there. But that would be perfect. We could come as our favorite artist.
Yeah, Sparrow, Merryman, something like that.
Prince.
Yes,
but I'm probably not tall enough to go as Prince, though. That's the only thing. Yeah, you can get platforms making this,
But definitely, any artist, they represent any of the eras anyway, so everything is welcomed.
Yeah. So Belle's going to go. Then you're going to do Linda's Grinch, right?
I don't know yet, but it's kind of just let your imagination go wild with it. Just pick something and go for it.
Yeah. Next year's theme will be politicians through the ages.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
It's election. Yeah, just giving you an idea.
Oh dear. No, I think we want to keep the Cayman Heart Fund fun.
This is there's the heart. Terry, stop.
We want to have the Cayman Heart Fund be fun, not give everybody a heart attack as they walk through the door.
No, man. That would be
a lot of orange wigs.
Ooh, yow. Actually, this year.
That would, yeah. Yeah, that's part of Halloween, so we're done with that one, right? This is not Halloween, right?
Halloween heart is both begin with H.
That's about it.
That was close. No, but this is where I think again we see the jovialness in your approach, and it helps with the laughter, it helps with the promotion, but it also helps with the messaging, because people can realize that through this now we can talk about the seriousness, not just knowing your numbers, but the importance of those numbers, the importance of getting active, and it takes literally just small steps, and then they become consistent steps. Your lifestyle changes. We adjust our diets. We even find time to play dominoes. I mean, I'm trying to say that because I haven't yet, but I'm getting there. So a good game of dominoes, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
From that though, with your MC, Wicked Wheaton sharing, I mean, for us it's Wicked Wheaton because it's the V and the W is one and the same, right? But I have to try to remember that. As any of us who've been where she's MC, she's full of life and energy. It's just amazing.
Oh yeah, I don't know where she gets it all from.
I think it's in a can. She's bottled it.
Yeah, she's constantly moving. I wish we could figure out a way to bottle her energy and give it out to other people, because that would be great. It would be better than coffee. She'd make millions.
Oh, and she just knows everyone and knows everyone's little, button to push, and it's just hilarious and a lot of fun. Yeah. She's super clever.
All right. Well, I'm hopeful that as a community, as we think about what else we're going to do for Valentine's for whatever reason, that this would be one of the things that we look at, not just for the fun, but for the impact that it can have through our contributions or sponsorship, just our attendance. There may be some connection that you're making, some little tidbit that you come away with that could be the difference between not just life and death, but an active, engaged, full life. Come Monday, we might start exercising all over again in a renewed way. All because of it.
I think the thing with cardiovascular disease is that we have to undo a lot of unintentional harm that was done decades ago, where we gave a very clear image picture that's very unrelatable to most about what heart disease is. So it was just that middle-aged, overweight gentleman, right? So it's hard to undo that and to have people see themselves and identify with heart disease and know that it can affect, like you were saying before, the newborn to the 100-year-old, men, women, all alike, every race, every background. So people need to identify and know there are things that you do for preventative, but there's also growing conscious about other types of heart disease and symptoms, signs, how to seek help, to know those things that seem intuitive, but it's not. So there's a lot of knee-jerk response when it comes to heart disease, and us and other institutions like the American Heart Association, et cetera, work so hard at creating programs exactly to break that automatic thought that people have and have people identify themselves with this.
I think too, and if, as a physician, Dr. Vela, correct me now so I don't misspeak, and certainly don't labor on the, sort of a misconception, but I believe there's a growing view that, okay, you've gone to your physician, you've had an episode, something has transpired, but it's not the end of it. It's reversible if you're consistent, if you change your lifestyle and you are serious. Is that a fair, so that people start to get hope again and not be despondent?
Yes, what we always strive for in medicine is to do what we call primary prevention. So we are fortunate where we live in the era of medical advancements that we have a lot of tests that can detect things that are clear signals that something may be coming down the road, whether because you're predisposed or because your lifestyle is pushing you forward towards that. So if we find those things, we are able to intervene and reverse. So there's a lot of things that I always tell my patients, it's an investment for 15 years down the line. So it doesn't feel very real right now. But if you think about it that way, the same way that you take care of your money and other things, you're doing this so that 15 years down the line, when you're still a young person, still able, that you still feel that way. You still can live life to the fullest. Because the idea is not to get to be 100, it's to get to be 100, but feel young.
Yeah, like you're 25 or 18 and you can do. And I think I like that you share that, in that we start to see this as, our lifestyle, and that we're doing this so that it may be difficult now to think what it's like in 20 years, but we all know that active 80, 90, 100-year-old person, and we marvel, wow, you're this age and you can do 100 pull-ups, you can run a marathon. We, as the children and grandchildren, slow down, can't keep up with you, just a second. They're doing these things, and it's all because they've always done them. They were always, they may not be able to run that 100 meters as fast as they could, 50 years ago. But guess what? They can still do it.
But no better example, they're our founder, I mean, Miss Susie Soto, I mean, talk about the Energizer Bunny.
I know. I can barely keep up with her.
No one can. And she's been through it. She's been through heart disease. She's been through many things. But because her fundamental caring for herself, maintaining active her brain and her body, nutrition and everything else, and she cares and gives so much back to the community. And she'll be there. She'll be honored. She'll be dressed up.
Yeah. She'll be dressed up. She swims laps every day in her pool.
Yeah.
She
I'm
does
glad
personal training, everything.
Because this is, when I was saying earlier, I mean, she did come to mind some others, but I think that's important for us to see that if something was to happen to a spouse, to a sibling, to a child, to a co-worker, that instead of feeling like how we did before, that, oh boy, this is it now, this is all downhill, that we can look to examples. I think Miss Susie, everybody knows of her, has great admiration and respect for her, and can see that, you're getting older, thankfully. You've had these, episodes and incidents and occurrences in your life, but you know what? You can still maintain it. For me, former U.S. President Bill Clinton, the epitome of the fast food lifestyle, constantly with, he was like the poster child for a particular fast food outlet. And then now he said, listen, I have this different lifestyle. Okay, he has resources and so on. But if he didn't employ them, if he didn't, very, very diligent and dedicated and disciplined approach, now we look at him, he looks not too bad, huh?
Yeah. And I think that sums up, in general, the spirit of this event, right? We're picking just a few out of the many people who have struggled through this and have a story to share. And we're celebrating them. We're saying, we can do great things together. And I think everyone should go to our website, and if they forgot how to contact us, and look at the phone number and the email and get some tickets, support your local charities. It's a great resource for people. Like you're saying, you mentioned someone with resources that can pay their chefs and their personal trainers and this and that. That doesn't mean that that's the only path that you can follow. But through charities such as ours, you can get blood tests to know your numbers and talk to experts about them. We fund constantly programs to do with heart health for the government hospital and other institutions. Our pediatric division, the congenital heart division, we even give money to families who are struggling with children with heart disease so that we can allow them to absent themselves for work and whatnot to accompany their sick child during those turbulent times. So we have so many programs really to benefit everyone that no one should feel like they're outcasted because they don't have the means for it. So that's what we are fighting for, and that's what we're saying. Come buy your ticket. Allow us to help Cayman, and in particular, anything to do with cardiovascular disease.
Well, I come in there for it, and I see the impact, and it continues to make us heart healthy. So thanks very much. Ms. Terry, for those who again would like to attend on the 16th of February, a nice, wonderful afternoon brunch at Papagallo, tickets?
The tickets, you can call our coordinator at 916-6324 or email info@caymanheartfund.com, and you can purchase your ticket there, reserve it, and she'll help you out.
All right, man. A wonderful theme, music through the ages. Come with your costumes, chance to win the best prize. Wow. Yeah. And to see Dr. Bella in her 70s. I keep thinking there, how's she going to do the hair?
I want to see the hair.
Yeah.
I want to see the hair. And we just want to thank our sponsors as well, Tortuga, Fine Wine and Spirits, Compass Media, Cayman Distributors, and K-Brew, and Papagallos.
All right.
Because they've done such a wonderful job for us.
Well, you guys continue to excel. You continue to remind us the importance of being heart healthy. And as a community, we'll continue to embrace you and be responsive. So, yeah, another wonderful event on the 16th of February.
Yep.
All right, looking forward to hearing about it some more.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of the week, man. It's just a Monday now already. I'm shining. It's good stuff. All right, well, for those who want tickets, 916-6324, and contact the Cayman Heart Fund, info@caymanheartfund.com. Get your tickets and be a part of the evening. Going to pause. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, more Talk Today.
ValueMed Pharmacy is your community care partner for health and wellness needs. We offer convenient prescription processing at the counter and online at value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com, with pickup available at the Walkers Road or Boddentown location. We also accept transfer prescriptions from other pharmacies. More than just a pharmacy, shop ValueMed for personal care and beauty products from trusted brands, perfume and gift sets, Hallmark and greeting cards, baby clothes, footwear, handbags, swimwear, home decor, toys, school supplies, and stationery. And home convalescence aids like wheelchairs, walkers, crutches, canes, and hospital beds. With 2 locations to serve you, Walkers Road in Georgetown and in Evron Plaza, Boddentown. Visit ValueMed, more than just a pharmacy.
Get fit for 2020 with up to 45% off gym memberships from King Sports Center's Powerhouse Gym.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Save on individual 1-year gym memberships for $375 and 2-for-1 membership specials at $650. That's a 1-year membership for one person for $375, or save even more with a 2-for-1 membership at $650. Jumpstart your health and fitness goals today. Offer valid at King Sports Center Powerhouse Gym now through January 15th.
For the record.
For the record, a fresh approach for information that matters to you, the people. Hear from the government, the opposition, independents, and other experts on issues and solutions that affect you.
For the record.
Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, tune into 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. K-Man Pharmacy Group, with a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The K-Man Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. And Seaboard Marine, with over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us as we invite you to be a part of the discussion. It's going to be so open line. I know it's Monday, and man, some of you saying, whew, it's Monday. This is the longest week so far. And it's only Monday. Now, I know, honestly, there are many of us who are up very early. It's kind of unfortunate that it's 7 o'clock before the sun is up, as it is. And for us who are used to being up earlier, it seems it takes a long time before there's light. And then for others who are, well, you know what, we get up when the sun comes up. Probably a reprieve. You're sort of weak, but you're waiting just until it gets a little better out. I said to share that, there was a interesting discussion we had earlier with someone who was of the perspective that you may, because of fantasy, maybe because of novels or things you watch on TV, that you live on an island. You have this sort of romantic version of island life. Everybody wears a certain thing, dresses a certain way, eats a certain way. There's palm trees swaying, sort of like that Hawaiian song. But the reality is that vacation versus having to live and work, not the same. But even on vacation, if it's congested because of traffic, if it's stressful because of crowds, if it's not that peaceful, tranquil place, then really is it indicative of what the romance, the perception, the sort of seal and pitch of island life. And he was sharing that given whether it's the genuine intent of a government, whether it's the desire of a developer, or whether it's the notion that we want to advance because that brings greater progress, and with that there's more affluence, and with that there is a higher standard of living and a better quality of life. But what if the reality is that it doesn't? To his view, yes, you have a bigger, fancier, nicer car, but you can't go anywhere because traffic is at a standstill. What if it is that there is no place to sort of escape and unwind away from the hustle and the bustle, because now, there are thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions or tens of millions in this crowded space. It's not, as he shared, that you go into a concert or to a football match and you're going to be in the stadium watching the game or the performance. It's that you want to walk the beach. And yes, there may be hundreds at the beach, but is it that the beach is again so crowded, and then that crowded beach and further congested with the commercial activity? Now, he showed me some short videos that he shot with his phone, some pictures. And these, unfortunately, were very much indicative of another friend's sort of pictures that she sent last week. You go to beaches, whether they're undeveloped, whether they're at or near hotels and condos, whether there are walls there in a small space between the wall and the water, but chairs 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10 deep as it is, and depending on how much beach space, you can't walk, between the chairs. You can't walk without being in the water. And it's not just that it's crowded and congested, but it's almost being positioned that you're sort of, cookies on a baking sheet, and someone's going to come and turn them for you, as opposed to what should be the quiet and solitude, the space, the elbow room that you need. Now, her sentiments, coupled with what he shared this morning with us, sort of resonate. It is a new year, as we're looking at what may be the future face of Cayman. Where is the public in weighing in helping to drive that future face? Is it that buildings will become 50 stories, 150 stories? Or is it that along all of our beaches and our roadways and on our sidewalks and there'll be constant commercial activity? Will it be that as a populace we no longer seem to have any semblance of order and decorum? It's a laissez-faire approach, sort of a free-for-all. Now, with that in mind, what is your view? 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Of course, we invite you to WhatsApp 925-3261 and to share your thoughts as you sort of weigh in on all these topics. It isn't, as I recognize the gentleman's perspective this morning as he shared, it isn't that you're trying to be inflammatory nor incite people into a sense of rage and anger and frustration and get them to a point where what they say isn't just full of vitriol, but he's saying these are very real, pressing issues that aren't being addressed. And when someone voices a concern, maybe asks a question, when someone says, well, wait a minute now, what is it? And it's usually that the government's thinking and doing this, and it comes across, perhaps because we're not sensitive enough to maybe how the question is worded. I'm probably more guilty of that than most of you. So recognizing that is sometimes how things are, perceived and how they're received. But if the question isn't asked, and even if there is a heated, argument, we want to say dialogue and debate and discussion, but what is it that we can do to make sure that higher standard of living, that better quality of life that we seemingly seeking, seemingly trying to do these things in order to bring about, how do we get that? Share with you one other comment from the gentleman's sort of perspective. He said, you look, for instance, just at the physical changing landscape, but also the names. Now, maybe because it sort of resonates with me, I think if I hear the word the public beach, I know where that is. Now, is that because, like him, I'm more familiar with the West Bay northern sort of end of Grand Cayman? But is it because, like him, I've been here for a little while? Now, all of a sudden, that is now 7 Mile Public Beach. Is that significant? Is that what it should have been, but it wasn't? Is it because of the development? And he said, it isn't that we are changing things, and as a result, we're losing perhaps connection to our history and heritage, but are we also making it confusing for others? And if that is the public beach, or if it's going to be named something else. He shared he remembered the JCs were very much instrumental in making sure the huts were there and the beach was sort of being prepared. The Leo's Club has come along and has done a great job. Now we're seeing a private sector entity partnering with government, spending millions and millions to seemingly on improvements, hopefully to the benefit of the country and the enjoyment of the populace. But again, how do we make sure that we maintain some sort of semblance of healthy respect to our history, to what should have been, much more amenable way of life? And by the same token, how do we ensure that those who come here are able not only to add, but can benefit from what exists? Now, we're seeing more and more things, whether it's roads being changed and realigned, widened, and hopefully, safer. But are they, at the end of the day? No. Your views, 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. But his final sort of comment in this whole thing is that too many times we sit and we don't say anything, and when we do, it's too late. It's long after the fact. He said that, as an example, in his own personal life, there was a particular building that he knew was being proposed in a particular area. Like a lot of his neighbors, they thought, well, maybe that shouldn't go there. Certainly not in that way. They knew about it, and although it was a long time ago, the process may have been, different then, but they didn't say anything. They just sort of made their little muttering under their breath, little utterances quietly and the like. But years later, and in this case, many, many years later, you still feel aggrieved, not just by the size of the building, but more and more by the fact that you could have at least weighed in and said something, whether it would have changed the whole outcome, but the fact that he didn't. And what he's sharing is that perhaps with age comes wisdom. Perhaps it's easier to look back and see what coulda, shoulda, woulda. But where is the courage, or where is the, if you allow me to say what he said, he was sharing, where is the gumption on the part of the people to make sure that you make a timely, informed, if it isn't always, received, but at least respectful comment on a particular thing, so that at the very least it can be registered then and there for it to matter. Now, for many of us, we don't, because we don't want to seem to be troublesome. We don't want to seem to be offensive. We don't want to seem to be anti or this or that. But at the end of the day, if it isn't, then what will happen if at the end of the day this thing is now so seemingly egregious or irreversible that it's a little bit too late? Well, your thoughts, 949-8037, 949-8037, or toll free with the compliments of flow at 1-800-534-8255. Likewise, you can WhatsApp 925-3261 and share your thoughts with us, as we would love very much for you to weigh in and give us your perspective on the issues. It is, as we look at the calendar, just the 13th of January, whether it's Friday the 13th or Monday the 13th, still almost midpoint within this month. A new decade is dawn, and for us, we're already full steam ahead. For some, it's no difference. We're just continuing on. For others, it's a conscious, deliberate opportunity to do things differently. Perhaps differently in the sense that for us it means, well, let's see if we can make more money, see if we can make it better. Others is, well, how can I make a more meaningful contribution? For some, it's no longer about just giving. It's about taking time to stop and unwind, taking time to, on evenings, leave a little bit early so that, even though the sun sets early now than it will in July and August, you stop and you, if nothing else, you roll down the window and you look out and you watch the sun go down for a bit. Maybe not every day, but maybe once in a day. Perhaps as early as you're up, because the sun is up a little bit later, you take a second and you look out and, maybe as you sip your coffee, you watch the sun rise. There's a gentleman who said that so much, unfortunately, towards the end of the year transpired that at least for these first few weeks, he is consciously decided, let me do those things. Take more, not from others, but take more so that there's more enjoyment of the simple pleasures. Coming back to, as I listen to him, to the sentiments of the gentleman comments about the perception of living on an island. What is island life? Is it the hustle and the bustle of what we see in, large sort of metropolitan areas where there are tens of millions of people crammed into, only a few square miles and everybody's clamoring over one another? Or is it this idyllic sort of romantic notion that we may have gleaned from the books we read or the movies we watch, or even for some of us, the stories from our fathers and grandfathers, and primarily who traveled the world and would tell us about uninhabited places that they may have visited, or it may be that we ourselves, because of our ancestral links, can recall. But when we look at what it is now on Grand Cayman, for us to get back to that island life, we escape to the back, for instance. I want to invite you to call and share your thoughts. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Very, very quick, short break, a little quick PSA. I'll share with you. And when you come back, if I can get permission to read what was sent, let me do that for us. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Preventing dengue is as simple as preventing mosquito bites. Use a mosquito repellent, wear protective clothing, and stay indoors during early dawn and dusk when mosquitoes are most active. Control the places around you where mosquitoes breed. Remove stagnant water in outdoor and household settings. As a weekly habit, persons should change the water in vases, clear the water in saucers under potted plants, and ensure air conditioner drip trays are free of stagnant water. Outdoor objects capable of holding water should be kept empty and preferably disposed of or put into dry storage if not used. These include open bottles and tins, watering cans, buckets, empty paint tins, and old vehicle tires. Do your part to control the spread of dengue. The dengue virus is an infectious disease transmitted through mosquito bites. Symptoms may come on as early as 4 days or as late as 3 weeks following an infection. There is no vaccine or specific medication to treat dengue. Symptoms of dengue include high fever, headache, pain behind the eyes, joint and muscle pain, and rash. If persons have any of these symptoms, they should go to the nearest health center or hospital. It is advised to drink lots of liquids and avoid medication that contains aspirin.
Country classics.
Well, I was born to coal miner's daughter.
On the road again. They're gonna put me in the movies.
Papa Top again.
Out in the West Texas town of El Paso.
Because you're mine, I walk the line.
Well, I love them in
Country classics.
Young love, first love.
You never count your money when you're sitting at the table.
If you enjoy classic country music, come hang out with Radio Cayman this Saturday, 3:30 to 6 p.m.
In the Mississippi cotton picking Delta town.
This Saturday afternoon, following American Country Countdown, 3:30 to 6 on Radio Cayman.
Just walk on by. Wait on the corner.
Country classics.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Can I send a request, please?
You don't really have to ask us. Just send a request.
This is a shout out to my ex.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. Thank you so much for joining us as we invite you to be a part of our discussion. It is open line 949-8037 1-800-534-8255, or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. And if you so choose, well, for us, we still like email, some of us. I know many say, oh, email, that's formal, that's for the older people. Well, I don't know. Might necessarily be formal. I don't want to be considered old either, but not yet anyway. Maybe in another 100 years. Well, talk today at candw.ky is the way you can email your thoughts as well. So any of those, certainly you're welcome to share your thoughts. Had a number of individuals reference prior to what now is probably increasingly in the media, but even just from what was shared by people as they move about the communities, as they become cognizant of environmental sort of concerns and the like. And I'll put a caveat, have immense respect for the gentleman. So sometimes when you find yourself having that sort of lot of personal deference, you may not always be seen to be as objective as impartial. But as you listen to the news and you see the issue relative to the recent after the fact planning application for the clearing of those mangroves up near the shores area, we had a number of people who just shared, some obviously aware of what was transpiring, others just sort of indirectly from accounts from here and there, and one very astute, informed listener sent through these sort of points here, and so they were listening to our news and hearing that a developer was issued an enforcement notice for clearing a large amount of the mangroves, and it was allowed by the planning department to do an after the fact application. So in the view, a breach of the law had occurred, and it is wrong to allow such an after fact application. This after the fact application should be and needs to be removed from the law with a large fine or even possible imprisonment. So it will continue to encourage wrong to be done if it is not removed from the law, and the planning department, for them it is time for us to wake up and to realize the importance of this. Now that one is probably written probably better than most, as one fellow shared in the response. He says it's becoming commonplace sometimes for people to do things and seemingly to say, oops, sorry, and on just generally speaking, he said, as if, well, ignorance of something serves as a valid defense, or oopsie, as he puts it, and no harm, no foul. Now for others, as I challenged the gentleman, and this is where I said what I said at the outset, he said, oh, you just have great respect for Mr. Burke. Yeah, I do. He said, when I responded, well, we're going to be moving forward with development. Does it really matter, if we're inconsistent in one instance and we're inconsistent in the other? And he said, you allow a large developer to clear tens or hundreds of acres. It's for a large development. It's for a commercial project. It's for a hotel. You have a smaller developer doing a much smaller scale, and it's a smaller property. And he shared that it's unfortunate how inconsistent we are in many things, and some are willing to turn a blind eye in one instance and be heavy-handed in the next. Let's go to our phones though. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Dwayne.
Hey, how are you today, man?
Okay.
All right, I hope you had a good weekend.
Yeah, man. Hope the same for you too.
Thank you. It's for us, it's always good to be thankful,
Okay. Yeah, we're speaking about the mangroves.
Mm-hmm.
The mangroves are there to protect us from the sea surge.
Yep.
Just like the iron shore and just like the reefs that surround the island. And when government decides to let these people remove these mangroves, they're putting our lives in danger. from the sea surge.
Mm-hmm.
If a serious storm was to happen, or even having an earthquake and end up getting a tsunami. So, government needs to stop letting these people do what they want to do just to make money off of this selling of land in these areas, and at the same time putting our lives in danger by doing so. And these people come up with excuses after they clear out. You imagine clearing out all that land and then being confronted about it after all of it has been cleared already, and come up with an excuse saying they didn't know they needed permission. So you trying to tell me now all that land that was cleared out with those mangroves, no government official noticed that going on until it was finished?
Well, with that in mind then, if I may ask, on one hand, someone does something and say, well, I didn't know, whether you accept that or not. But on the second hand, on the other hand, if the government of the day, whether it's planning or environmental department or wherever it is, if presumably someone officially or unofficially, whether directly or anonymously, says this and this is happening, what then? I mean, if there's no action on the part of the officials, the government officials, the government departments, if they just delay, if they use, bureaucracy as an excuse to get to the issue, I mean, who's who should be pointing the finger at more? The person who's doing the clearing, the potential developer, or the government entity that's there to look out for the public interest?
Well, the government needs to stop it before it goes that far.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing. And the next thing, after it has gone so far without permission, that individual should be in courthouse.
So there needs to be authority in the law to say, okay, you've done this thing. Ignorance of the law is no excuse, so therefore you're before the courts. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, and then what?
And then let the courts decide what type of penalty should be put on the individual. But what are you trying to tell me now?
No. I'm just asking you.
What if somebody else does this now? Somebody else goes now and clears out all this big old piece of land, mangroves,
mm-hmm.
and they come and say the same thing. They thought they didn't know that they needed permission.
Mm-hmm.
Just let it go again, Dwayne, and then somebody else after them does the same thing. Somebody else after them does the same thing. Just keep letting it go like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not right, Dwayne.
No, and not wishing to say that I justify that is right, but I'm asking, when these things seemingly have been happening in our country for many times, sometimes in similar instances, sometimes by the same people involved or in the same areas, what is it that we're doing to address it?
Dwayne, you got people around the world growing mangroves to try to protect their country. Growing mangroves, and we down in here in the Cayman Islands tearing it down. Just like around the world, you got people around the world with their reefs dying. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And we here in Cayman making plans on destroying ours.
So what do we do? I mean, how do we make it better?
How do we make it better?
Yeah.
Get rid of all them people you see up inside, members of the Legislative Assembly. That's how you make it better.
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of all of them and make an example of them. This is what happens when you think you can do what you want to do and jeopardize our country and the lives of our people here on this island.
Do you think there are, so if we're going to get rid of the people we elect, that means as voters we need to be informed and engaged and deliberate when we go to vote. Do you think that we are, at that place now? I mean, are our people sufficiently willing to do that?
Well, Dwayne, I really don't know. I really do. I know about me.
Mm-hmm.
I can speak for myself.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I can speak for myself. But about others, I don't know exactly how they feel. I don't know exactly how they feel because that's their own individual decision.
Mm-hmm.
But I know after I make my decision who I'm voting for, I can go put my head down, sleep good in the night.
Mm-hmm. Well, so maybe through your actions and your willingness to publicly champion, maybe as we see it, others will follow your public example and say, okay, this is what we need to do and this is why we need to do it. So who knows? You could be an influencer in that perspective.
Well, Dwayne, like I said to you before,
Mm-hmm.
when Pilate asked the Jews, who do you want me to release, Barabbas or Jesus? And they said Barabbas. This is what I'm trying to tell you. This is what I'm talking about when it comes to individuals making their own individual choices in life.
Mm-hmm.
These types of things happen. Even if after that there are serious consequences.
Real question, man. Hey, thanks very much for sharing, and maybe there'll be more calling for Barabbas. Maybe there'll be those calling. All right, let's pause and take a short break. We'll join our callers right after. It'll be very short. Stay tuned.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have here on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice. For today's biggest news.
Access.
Local, regional, international, this is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom team.
Today's biggest news.
Several young women of the non-profit organization Girl Power Cayman get a first-hand look at a day in the life of a student at the University College of the Cayman Islands during a recent tour of the campus. The young ladies also got a chance to interact with some of the faculty and staff, learn about UCCI's different programs of study, information about the different scholarships available, and what steps to take to enroll at the campus. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines in news elsewhere. Low tides have left canals in Venice almost dry, just 2 months after severe flooding left much of the Italian city underwater. Boats have been seen almost beached as water levels dip drastically. The canals look more like mud trenches, and getting around has become a problem for many in the city. And a man has been rescued after surviving more than 3 weeks in the Alaskan wilderness with little food and shelter. State authorities rescued 30-year-old Tyson Steele after a fire destroyed his remote cabin. He lived on canned foods that survived the blaze and made a basic tent out of debris in the sub-zero temperatures. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thanks for joining us. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. Let's go to our phones. Welcome. You're on Talk Today. Hey, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Very well. How about yourself?
All right. Poor us, they just one thing and then the next try to destroy us. Calling about this central planning, the mangrove clearing out.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way you can check to see who is on the board? Because as far as I know, it's a public document, so I guess anybody should be able to get that.
Mm-hmm.
Can public come back on the radio and tell us who is on the board for Central Plan Authority so we can figure out who it is that is behind all of this? That's my opinion. And I'm from the district of West Bay, as me and you, we need to look in. If you notice, there's another liquor license coming up in West Bay. Again, we got an every corner in West Bay. Now we've got a liquor license. You got two churches. We got a liquor store. within two churches coming at the fore, West South Westway, did we change the laws now that they have to be the 500 yards away from the church? I mean, do they not need to notify nobody no more for nothing, or where are we at? We need to know who's on the license board and who's on the central plan board. That's number one. Number two, can we find out publicly who the person is that did the mangrove tearing down, and the name of the person that tore down mangrove? Because ignorance is no excuse in law. And from what I can understand, it is whether he's a status holder or whether he is whatever he's a developer, has been developing in Cayman for umpteen years.
Mm-hmm.
And if and then we turn around and for them to give him the license after he broke the law, I don't know what road are we going. Is it the dollar that we're worrying about, or are we worrying about our country? Because my sister put on a 10%, which is a bathroom and a kitchen onto a developing existing house. And planning authority came down to my residence and stopped her and told her she had broke the law and she could not proceed. And now she had to apply the planning to get permission for not less than 10% of the existing land. Now, is it okay because you got money you can get away with it? Because right now she lost her house, so she's on her own now trying to find somewhere to live. And she's trying to do something for herself to keep herself in shelter that she don't become a burden to government. But you got the people out there that has money and can know what they're doing, can get away with it. I mean, hold it a minute now. I mean, is there something wrong with that picture? I mean, we killing the goose to lay the golden egg. I mean, what going on? We as Caymanians, especially Westville, need to stand up for everything that is going on in Westville, all these liquor licenses. I mean, we are making it alcoholic state. We're already called by name as it is. Me and you know that. I mean, if something break out in South Africa, they'll never say it was a Westville. So we don't need no more Washington than they got. All you can hear that it's Westville. Okay, to put it down there. Hold it a minute now. We don't want to take so much. And I am actually going to get a petition going about all these liquor licenses that are coming up in our district, because this is way beyond what people can take. I mean, we got so many young children that are going to destruction through all of these things that they're doing. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Well, I hear you. Maybe it's more and more as we listen to it and see where we are, you know? Anything else you want to share with us?
We need to educate them and tell them that they need to get alcohol and encourage them to get into it.
All right. Well, I'll give the names of the Planet Authority as we found online, but I'll do that in a bit. So we went to the planning website, and I'll share those names. There's 13 members of the board, so I'll give them out to you in a second. All right. Thanks very much.
I will stay off the air so I can hear it.
Yeah.
Because I need to make a note.
All right. Well, we just looked at it, and hopefully this is the current listing. But let's take the other callers. But thank you for sharing. Okay. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling.
Afternoon. How are you?
Not too bad. I'm calling in regards to the lady there talking about planning.
Mm-hmm.
Sterling, I have a house in Newland, and when Frank Hall was cutting those properties many years ago, they really gave some property. They really gave some land, okay? And they gave it a starter's home, a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and so got all this land hanging there. I never added anything to the house after 2 years. Now, my daughter went to planning, trying to see what she can do in my yard, and trying to see if the land was put in, what we call subdivide, to give her a piece of land paper to go to the bank to get X amount of dollars to add a 2-bedroom in the back of the yard. She was told by planning, this low density, and she cannot, the land can't be subdivided. And if she wants, she can do a 30 feet below and add it to my house. But she has to get a surveyor, and she has to get a plan to do the piece that she wants to add on. So I want to know where our people going to go in the next 5 years here in this island, because they're not giving our people any hope in this island. They had a 10% and they took it away from you. I heard the government channel there, but if you're going to build a wall, you got to have permission to build a wall. If you're going to put a shed in your backyard, you got to have planning permission. Sterling, where in the heck are we going, and what is happening to the few little Caymanians that their parents want to try to help them on this standstill because it's the law, you can't do this, and the law, you can't do that. I see places around here adding on to their homes daily. I want to know if they got any permission to do what they're doing. And furthermore, Sterling, I didn't really have no plan to call the radio. And when I had that woman there just now, I had to come on because she's telling the truth, and here I am, the living proof that I got the property. Cayman is no density throughout the whole island. I'm planning to tell my family that it's low density, that you can't this, you can't that. I heard in the house the other day, when Pandora, or whatever his name is, state that when I was asking about family members trying to get together and build something on the family's property, like doing a duplex and yakety. Oh, well, we got to be careful how we go up in the air because, people are concerned about other buildings into other rooms and yakety. Sterling, that is for the whole world. Look at the hotels by the graveyard. Look at the hotels by private homes. Look at private homes that got 2 or 3 floors that live next door to another neighbor. What they got blinds for? What they got curtains for? What they got hurricane shutters for? They are doing everything to keep the people down this island. And you let me tell you something, they are getting fed up. And if they don't start looking to help these Caymanian people, either by paper or by pen, they can have a revolution that the government of wish that they had came out and helped build the homes to these people who so want to continue to stay there in Caymanian and they want to make Cayman their home. They got nowhere else to go to a certain extent. We got expats coming here. They can come today, tomorrow they got a home, they got a car, and they got their business, and they got 2 or 3 helpers. I don't care. But take care of my Caymanians. Take care of my people. And we're not getting that here, Cayman. In 2021 coming next year, the government, I hope you're all listening. I don't give a rat's right now. I hope you're all listening because if you all start taking care of your people, there's going to be a riot. I just went to the hospital to do a urine test for the toxicity. You know what lady told me? If I don't make the mark in urine in the cup, I got to pay $20 CI for a cup. Sterling, can you imagine? A cup costs $20. They're all going crazy. You could have gone and do a medical for toxic for $50 at a urine test and everything is done. Now they want you to go to the hospital, you have it for $96, now they go to $160. I mean, if they want to dig our eyes out of our head on this island, tell us, don't surprise us, talk to us. But I just hope that the people of these islands wake up 2010 and want to see how they are being treated and stop taking this old petty cash under the counter just to take you by for one day and you need to live tomorrow. People need somewhere to live. I got the property and my daughter can't put something on that because planning says it's no density, can't divide it, and planning says you have to have a plan and you have to have a survey to come out. They want a survey that probably costs about $10,000. A house is about $10,000 right now, Sterling. 22 years old. But you know what, Sterling? You know what the saying is? Today for you, tomorrow for me.
All right, well, thank you very much for sharing with us. Let's take the other caller. Good afternoon. Welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Hello.
Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
I am very well, sir. Happy New Year to you and the crew.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you as well.
Thank you, dear. Thank you, dear. Let me say something, sir. All of this crying, and I know everybody that just called, and a good lifelong friend that just hung up. baby, let's advocate for something that is already supposedly done. That is called standards in public life, because maybe we'll get somewhere about, because every jack one of these needs to be locked up, or considering that they could be locked up. But without a law, it won't go any place. And if the law isn't in process to get where it needs to go, to be able to help the people, to be able to be a sword or a shield to the people of this country, nothing different ain't going to be done for us. I just heard about the mangroves this morning. It's a crying shame and a disgrace. That's a slap in the face. That's one West Bay woman's word every day you talk to her. It's a shame and a disgrace. And where is the government? Where are the ministers that we pay? We pay these people, and they sit down and they ignore this country. But had it been one little boy, one little young boy gone and steal 2 lobsters from the environmental zone, so on and so forth. And now let me say, I'm not agreeing that they should do that, but that's food to eat. You got people tearing down the mangroves, and we going to get up in the morning and we going to think that everything is okay in this country. We need that standards in public life bill active and alive, not sitting down doing nothing. And I got to tell you something now. Let me make my proclamation. There are maybe 4 people in this current government. That means the government bench, the back bench, the opposition, whatever they want to call themselves. They got about 4 people in there, and the rest, you wouldn't notice that they're not there because they do nothing. They say nothing and they do less. Me personally, should I live to see the glorious day for the next election coming, I shall not be voting for anybody over 30 years old, maybe, except for maybe 1 or 2.
Gee, there goes my chances then of getting your vote.
Well, I'm not so sure, baby, for drop pages. You can go to the right people and get the right paper.
There you go.
Listen, let me say, they're not voting for anybody over 30 years. They are all corrupted, and that's why the bill can't come off the shelf. Alden, the premier, Alden ain't talking to nobody else. Write your history, young man. Write your history. And the history is being written for you. And it's not pretty, it's not sweet, it's not nothing you could be proud of, let alone your children. This is past ridiculous in this country. I ain't voting for a soul over 30. Not one. And I wouldn't encourage anybody else to do that either. And I want standards in public life. I want campaign finance. Them 2 there. It's about 2 more. I can't remember what it is right now, but I can call you back with them tomorrow.
Of course. Yes, please.
I want campaign finance, meaning anybody who got a heart for can have a chance. And it's not exclusive to people who lay down in the bed with every mutt and think that they're going to get up without fleas.
I hear you.
That's what I want. And I want campaign finance. I want campaign finance in this country, and I want standards in public life law open that everybody could see it and watch it ticking and working. And with that, I'm talking to the governor. He's supposed to be down there looking about good governance. I call it compliance, but the compliance officer is not complying. And that's another travesty, because I don't know what he's doing, because I can't see anything else he's doing unless he's Facebooking. Anyhow, that's my little bit for the day.
All right, well, tomorrow you can share a little bit more, okay?
For calling in and making all like me who's very aware of what's happening. Thank you very, very, very much.
Thank you for sharing with us. Enjoy your afternoon and make this week not only be safe but productive.
Harder by the day.
Yep.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. I'm going to pause, take the final break. Is that what I'm told, Miss Susan? Okay. Got the members according to the websites for the Liquor Licensing Board. No, for Grand Cayman. Grand Little Cayman's a bit different, but also for the Planning Authority. So we'll share it with you after the break.
With the latest headlines.
One of Cayman's bright and shining young stars.
Local, regional, international.
Turning to international news.
Updates on the hour between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. on weekdays. All the news when you want it. Tune in to Radio Cayman for hourly headlines of the day's top stories.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
We are Radio Cayman, and this is how we wake you up in the morning. Praise time.
Praise time on Radio Cayman.
Walk them golden stairs, 'cause I know my Jesus answers all my prayers.
Praise time.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
Praise time.
Give me Jesus in the morning.
For the God of the mountain is still God in the
Praise time. Praise time.
Jesus in the morning, yeah.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. Thanks for joining us. And before we go back to our callers online, just quickly, the liquor licensing board members for Cayman Bracket Little Cayman, they're different from the ones for Grand Cayman. So we just give you the chairman as posted on the websites. The caveat is, these are what we have here. So if they're not accurate, two things. One, we do a due diligence. And two, always good to be, making sure it's updated. But just the chairman for the BRAC liquor licensing board, Mr. Nathaniel Tibbetts. For Grand Cayman, the liquor licensing board members, the chairman, and this is for 2019, Noel Williams as chairman, deputy chair, Mrs. Lynn Borden. The members, Ms. Arleth Ebanks, Anthony Lawson, Wayne Kirkernel, Magdalene Robinson Clark, Chandavi Glidden, and then as from designate, or the member for Director of Commerce and Investment or designate, Director of Planning or designate, Director of the Department of Environmental Health or designate, and then the Secretariat of the Department of Commerce and Investment. Now, for the Central Planning Authority, it's a 13-member board. The Director of Planning, Mr. Haroon Pandui, is the Executive Secretary. The Chairman, Mr. Alfred L. Thompson, affectionately we call him LT. The members, Edgar Ashton Borden, Peter Berry, Ray Hides, Selvin Richardson, Christina McTaggart Pinedo, Roland Borden, Jaron Leslie, Chris Bergstrom, Fred Whitaker, Trent McCoy, Joseph Coe, and then the Deputy Chairman is Mr. Robert Watler Jr., Bob Watler as we call him. Alright, let's go to the phones. Good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Hey, my friend, how are you today?
Alright, Mr. Dwayne.
Alright, I hope all is well, man.
Yeah, man. First of all, I want to make sure if we can just give our prayers and hope for the people down in the Philippines and that side of the world going through that with the volcanoes and stuff.
Hey, thank you for remembering that, man. That's a lot of people being affected, man.
Yeah, a lot. And they're down in Mexico, too. The volcano erupting there. You know, make sure they, no matter what, we make sure we remember that they're still a part of us, Let's try.
Hey, thanks very much for that, man. That's I like with your spirit, man. You're always thinking of others. Thank you for that and for remembering us.
Yeah, man, and always good to hear. The callers. No matter what they telling us, just as long as we can make sure they're sharing their opinion, that is worth something. Not something like, I kicking a can down the road or something like that.
Right.
And first of all, I hope this year and till the next election, we all can understand, or we all can see what is really going on here. And what's really going on here is corruption that's thrown in our face that we can't say or we can't do nothing about. Mr. Dwayne. In the military, they got something that they used up in Iraq, where they were using to spy on the Iraqi people. You understand? It looked like a little car battery, a car battery charger. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
It called something called a stingray, right? Now this used to spy on your daily transactions or your interactions on the internet with your phone or whatever. It can listen to who you're talking to. It can listen to who you're messaging. It can read your messages, all of that. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Mr. Dwayne, this thing is a military device that used in the military to try to find the terrorists. And mind you, the name of it is named Stingray. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Mr. Dwayne, just a couple of days ago, I was searching through my phone and a couple other devices I got here. And comes up on my internet or my service provider that I'm logged into something called Stingray. Now, me being how I is, I just thinking, this not here. You know, this is not here, not around me. But when I remember, there's a group right down the road. I can't say the name or say where they are or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
That is proposing to do some land development around my area within the government and within certain politicians. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get votes or trying to scam votes off of this little thing here. And I'm thinking to myself, this is not happening, you know. But then again, I say, well, the election is coming up, you know. So maybe this is going on here.
Maybe.
You know, and Mr. Dwayne, that would be very sad if I found out that somebody was spying on my stuff illegally, you know. That would be very, very, very disappointing. I don't put it across them. I don't underestimate them.
Would it be surprising if it's been happening all along and even more than we realize, huh?
Yes, sir. This is why making it so surprising. I know something been going on before, but not this bold, not this out, like, you know, so bold with it, because you have to be seen in the connection. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Certain devices you can't see, you won't see.
Right. All right, man. But listen, thanks for pinching us to that. All right. I appreciate it. Chance to take 2 final calls. Let's take them both. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Dwayne, and how are you?
Blessed and thankful. How about yourself?
Blessed and thankful, too. Your last caller,
Mm-hmm.
I don't hope that that's what's going on, but I think he should know, and I believe that he knows because he's a sensible young man, that computers been hacked over and over and over again. All of that stuff is going on here. We never dream about these things happening, but it's happening. Just like the land that was cleared down, that shouldn't have been cleared down, these are people that have been developing in this island for many years. Don't tell me that they didn't know that they have to get our permission. That is BS, far as I'm concerned, because they know you should get permission on everything. If you want to build a utility room, you have to get permission on your own property, much less.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, what has happened is simple as this. These things go on, and it depends on who it is. It depends on who it is. Because somebody wants to get a little shelter, but he nor she, in this case, your last caller is saying about it, talking about it. They're not money people. So they got to get all kinds of approval because government has never, ever made anybody pay up to the hilt for doing wrong and made an example out of them that the next one do not do it because these things go on and on and on and it's never a stop to anything. I don't know what is happening to Cayman, but I'm begging the young people, stop having children because it is nothing here anymore for children unless you have money, unless you're up in society that you can do whatever you feel like doing. So I'm asking people to be careful what they're doing now if you don't have the money to put under the table because people can say what it's like, but this place is full of corruption. We send our children to schools to get a good education, come back, can't get a job. What kind of examples are we setting? What kind of example is government setting for the people of this island, for the Caymanian people of this island? May I say that much? But I hope you have a good afternoon, and I hope that you had a good Christmas, and I pray to God that things be a little bit more settled in this island for 2020 than it has been for the past couple of years because we're going downhill regardless of what politicians get on their mouth on this radio or any other media and blubber about because it's not right what's going on here.
Well, thank you very much for sharing as well, all right? All right, let's take one final call. Good afternoon, welcome. You want to talk today? All right, well, I guess some recognize and we're at that end. So thank you so much for sharing with us this afternoon. Invite you to come back tomorrow for more talk today right after the midday news and midday meditation. Enjoy it. Hopefully we get a chance to have a good friend sit in with us tomorrow and chat for a bit about all the good things. It's a familiar voice. You like what he has to share. All right. Enjoy your day. Make the week as you deliberately set about it. To make it productive, make it safe, make it that you're continuing to make an invaluable contribution and finding yourself of great service. Until tomorrow, be blessed.
Shaken yet standing firm. This is Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.